we have water. So Carolyn has been with P&G for longer than I want to announce, so I'm going to let her tell her.
That makes it sound like 50 or something.
No. I'm trying to be nice. But she's been around long enough at
More
P&G.
than 30 years, yes.
More than 30 years. We're going to stick with that number.
Okay.
But the interesting part was how you actually got into P&G. Yeah. Tell me that story, because when someone sticks around in a company that long, they must have always wanted to be in the role that you are in now.
Yeah, my story's a little different from that. So hello to fellow Canadians. I went to school in Saskatchewan, and there we go. And I have a computer science degree. My friend had a marketing degree, so she said, you got to apply to P&G. And I said, okay, what do they do? And then proceeded to write out my application, and I got an interview. And halfway through the interview, the interviewer said, do you have any questions? I said, yeah, what does your IT department look like? How does that operate? And he said, why are you asking me that? And I said, because I'm applying for your IT position. I have a computer science degree. And he said, I'm interviewing you for brand management. And I said, but I'm interested in IT. And he said, I don't even know. I'll have to get back to you. And the interview ended. Seriously, that was it. So I thought, well, that was a bust. And did get a call back, went to Toronto for a day, and got a job offer. But we typically hired co-ops for IT, so I was a bit of an anomaly all the way through. So I have since had the great privilege of working in IT, in our supply chain, doing a lot of our merger and acquisition work, integration work, sales and general management, but I haven't actually done brand management.
Oh, that particular gentleman must be very, very disappointed.
I don't know.
To have never worked with you, possibly. But you've now been with P&G.
Let's just say it, my 36 years.
36 years.
Everybody do the math.
Do the math. 36 years at P&G has also given you an opportunity to kind of see your journey and the company's journey through the same eyes. Mm-hmm. How has that been like, about the core of what keeps you at P&G?
You know, we get asked this all the time. My intention was never to stay at P&G. I was going to move to Toronto. Toronto's it's far away when you grow up in Western Canada. Anybody from Canada knows this. And so I thought, I'll go there for the 2 or 3 years, and then I'll move back home. I just always ended up having more reasons to stay than to go. I had many opportunities to leave. But P&G is a company that enabled me to continue to challenge myself, to take on increasing responsibility, to work in many different countries and many different parts of the company. And it has great values. It has great values and principles and stands for things that are congruent with who I am as a person. And so a lot of reasons to stay.
Lots of reasons to stay, and it comes down to purpose, because I know I've had the opportunity to speak to Alex Keith, your CEO of the beauty business in the London Summit, and she kept talking about the fact that purpose was part of what all of you stood for personally and for the company long before it became fashionable and woke to be full of purpose. Run us through that journey of how that strategy of purpose works with the core strategy of running a business that's at the end of the day about making money and consumer needs.
Well, from a P&G standpoint, our strategy is to deliver consumers great products and great experiences. And we think about that. Our strategy is a strategy of delivering superior products, packages, brand communication, retail execution, online, offline, and a value proposition. And across all of those vectors, that's how we think about delivering the consumer a superior experience, a superior product, and a superior brand proposition. And so as we think about that superiority, that's fundamentally what we do. But within that, we're also very cognizant of how consumers are shifting. If you think about consumers today, again, they still want great products and great propositions, but they want convenience, they want personalization, and they want brands and companies to be socially responsible. And they think about this social responsibility from an environmental sustainability standpoint, speaking out on social issues that are important to them, and also on good governance as you think about consumer privacy and transparency and everything that is topical in that right now. So this whole notion of purpose, I think, is becoming more visible, but there are many cases because of our values where we've always stood for making consumers' lives just that little bit easier every day, and with values and principles that are very congruent.
Well, I know if you haven't watched the Gillette ads, which got a lot of backlash, that's an example of having purpose and sometimes it not working out. The first ad came out, got a lot of flack for it from a certain segment of the male population, and you were brave enough to not stop there, and you decided to go ahead and make another one, which was for the Canadian audience. I want to play this one out before we talk a little bit further.
Sure.
Growing up, I was always trying to figure out what kind of man I wanted to become, and I'm still trying to figure out what kind of man that I want to become. I always knew I was different. I didn't know that there was a term for the type of person that I was. I went into my transition just wanting to be happy. I'm glad I'm at the point where I'm able to shave. South, south, north, north, east, west, never in a hurry.
Yeah.
Right.
One. Now, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Shaving is about being confident. Oh, you're doing fine. You are doing fine.
I'm at the point in my manhood where I'm actually happy. It's not just myself transitioning, it's everybody around me transitioning.
We know that the grooming business is having its own set of problems at P&G. Yet that ad came out. What was the reception compared to the first one?
Well, let me talk to you a little bit about the first one as well. Our grooming business has struggled. That's really what you're referring to. And there's a lot of things that we're working on to strengthen and accelerate our results in grooming. And I'm very confident that we will get that business back to growth. But what's really important for us is to do it across all of those vectors of superiority, right? So product, package, execution in stores online, brand communication, and value proposition. On the brand communication part, that's one piece of it. And within Gillette, one of the things that the team was really focused on is how do we become more relevant to today's consumers? The point of entry into shaving is typically 18 years old. At 18, every young boy gets a Gillette razor. We have a program that delivers that as a point of entry program, but we had to become more relevant. If all of you know Generation Z, millennials under 30, this social responsibility part is very, very important to them. And so the Gillette team made a massive shift. So the tagline of the best a man can get was historically very focused on the quality of the razor and all the different pieces and the perfection of the shave. And what the team has shifted to is the best a man can be. And it's all about being your best person. So even in the Gillette ad that you're referring to in January, we all know where we were, and we all knew what was going to happen. And I think that's really important. For that ad, which was really about toxic masculinity, we took a lot of criticism, but we also took praise. So the criticism was highly orchestrated by a number of people that really didn't like it. And as the ad progressed, because our team had such conviction that we would not pull the ad. And as the ad progressed, over the course of its airing, we got to 65% positive sentiment. 65% said they would be more apt to purchase Gillette. For Generation Z, for millennials under 30, 80% positive sentiment about the ad. So I first want to dispel the perception that it was a negative, terrible experience. It wasn't. We are really proud of that work. But that work continued, right? This whole notion of the best a man can be really continued to this ad, which we aired in June in Toronto. We've got one coming in September on emergency responders. And it's really about celebrating modern masculinity. And that's what Gillette wants to stand for.
But
and
how
that's
do you bring authenticity to that? Because a lot of folks will say it's woke washing. You're just playing to the sentiments of to sell to the Generation Z, impress your daughters, 25 and 21, and get them to give you positive feedback. How do you balance that in a business that is struggling to make it authentic rather than a play?
Yeah, what's really important is it must be authentic. Consumers can see through this, right? With any of our brands, and we have so many brands that are taking bold stands on issues that are important to our consumers. And those issues can be anything, but it has to be something that is authentic to the brand voice. It has to be authentic to the brand voice, it has to be authentic to the issue itself, and it has to be fully integrated and baked into the business model. It can't be an ad that plays and everything else stands for something else. It has to be totally holistic. It has to be in how the brand continues to use its voice. It can't be one and done. It has to be in how the brand interfaces with the consumers it serves. What is it doing within society? Where, you know, the Gillette team is donating $1 million every year to continue to help young men grow up to be wonderful, wonderful human beings, and establishing role models for them. So working with big brothers and big sisters in this, and all kinds of whole program. So it has to be authentic, again, to the brand voice. It has to be authentic to the issue itself. And then again, it's one part of the solution. We still have to deliver all the other parts of superiority. We have to deliver package and product, and we have to deliver the right execution, and we have to deliver a value proposition that works.
Well, we have time for a question from the audience. So it's a great opportunity to kind of get in and see if you have a question for Carolyn. Anyone? So I have a question. At some point, when you're looking at the makeup of Procter & Gamble and the amount of women in leadership positions in Procter & Gamble, it is quite a testament. What's brought that about, and how much does that influence the way the company's performance happens? And it's quite successful outside of talking about grooming.
Yeah, we've had very strong results. We're really happy about that. We're at an all-time high from a stock price standpoint. Our results are strong and very, very broad-based. And I would tell you for sure it's a testament to the leadership of our company, it's a testament to our board, it's a testament to the 90,000 employees that we have. But within our representation, we have over 47% of all of our management worldwide is women. We have 40% of our C-suite, more than 40%, slightly higher than that, of our C-suite that are women. Our board is slightly over 40% women. But importantly, our goal is 50-50. I have the privilege of sponsoring our gender equality work. We are very committed to 50-50 representation at all levels of the company, in all regions, in all disciplines, and we talk about it all the time.
So when will we see a female CEO at P&G?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on that because we really like the work that David's doing. He's doing a great job.
Sure you do.
But we do have a talented leadership team, and we have a lot of options.
Well, on that note, Carolyn, hopefully we will see a new female CEO at some point soon enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.